PSO2 NGS needs to adapt and fast. I played around 700 hours of just NGS, but most of this has been grinding enemies, grinding urgent quests, grinding dailies, and AFKing in the lobby. It didn't really feel like I was doing content, and I think most casual players or even newer players will struggle finding things to do very fast. I will still continue to play this game, but right now I have a whole lot of copium. The game tries to expose you to some of the base PSO2 storyline by allowing you to switch blocks, but most people just starting NGS aren't going to do that, at least not straight away. The story in NGS is set so far in the distant future that so much of it is currently unrelated, and we don't have a time frame of when most of the previous lore will be relevant. The story feels so bare bones. I feel like the entire time I've been playing a side story in a bigger RPG at most. So much is still unexplained within the game world, and it's been over a year since the release. Who is our main villain, for instance? We still don't have a proper clue about anything to do with our main character. I think that's nice that in December a new region will be released, and that's great. A new change of environment might give the game a little bit more variety, but if it's anything like the previous areas, there's not going to be that much of a change. We're still going to be running around killing the same sorts of enemies over and over again. Maybe a new gimmick that people will like for a few days, and the devs will try and push everyone to the new region as fast as possible by making previous regions redundant through weaker gear, EXP spikes, and a lack of content to force regions to return to these previous zones. Even the current two main endgames, highest rarity gear and fashion, are getting stale. I only have so many times that I want to redesign my characters, looks, and getting the highest rarity gear is either RNG or super time consuming and results to the endless grind of PSE bursts. I feel like NGS needs to utilize what it currently has to the best of its ability before giving us a new region with a story that is extremely short and heavily underwhelming. With the introduction of the Waker class, we got some short side stories with some of the characters of the main storyline. This is good, and I think it should have been there on release. I want to know more about these characters that I'm experienced the journey with, their likes, fears, failures, and passions. I don't care if they get a sob story or heartwarming scenes, I just need something. There needs to be some more world building of the current zones. Currently, the only explanation for the lack of people that we witness in many of these locations is that they're all protected underground. Okay, well, it does seem like NGS lands are quite hostile to those who aren't Arcs defenders, but why can't we have areas where we just go around these underground spaces? We have two combat zones that seem connected to the regions above, but I still don't see any people doing anything that normal people would be doing to ensure their societies function. It leaves many of these regions feeling dead inside. These people could have quests, even some basic ones like doing things from point A to B, delivering goods, or doing races across the map. Why not have other Arcs defenders doing activities which require your assistance outside of Central City, for instance? We meet a few new characters from story events, but I'm not constantly seeing these characters giving new missions. It leaves them feeling very one-dimensional and not really memorable. If needed, this could also result in the randomly generated zones for when development resources need to be focused elsewhere, just for a change of scenery and slight difference in how the game plays. These characters could have their continued journeys in these zones, and we could be drip-fed more story around these characters. These zones, if needed, could be done in the underground or interior areas of the region currently available in NGS, because these places are currently not being utilized to the best of their abilities. This brings me to my next point. They need to utilize the spaces that they have created within NGS to their fullest capabilities. Some areas within the game feel super bare bones, like North Kavaris, and others are just flat spaces to run across. I feel like they should utilize some of the VR aspects that were established within base PSO2 to give NGS more tasks to do in these spaces. Things like platforming sections, alliance tasks, more races, and things to do with friends. That brings me to my next point. They need to utilize the spaces that they have created within NGS to their fullest capabilities. Some areas within the game feel super bare bones, like North Kavaris, and others are just flat spaces to run across. I feel like they should utilize some of the VR aspects that were established within base PSO2 to give NGS more tasks to do in these spaces. Things like platforming sections, alliance tasks, more races, and things to do with friends. The currently available recreational activities also need to be on a roulette with benefits daily for being involved in them, similar to a system in Final Fantasy XIV. This is to ensure that people stay engaged with the past content and don't just leave it behind when a new region is made. A lot of the systems present in base PSO2 need to make a return, like fishing and mining. There are just many spots within the current regions where a system like fishing or mining could make a return. And then just making something like that enjoyable could go a whole way to making the game feel more substantial. For a game that feels like it's supposed to be an expansion to the base game, there is a whole lot that has been lost. Systems like, fishing and mining could also be used to fit with the themes present within this game. Trying to build up and restore many of these communities, trying to maintain your survival, etc. Even alliance activities need to be made worthwhile. Bring back the alliance quarters. This could be a part of Central City. We need more reasons to be part of an alliance, and better reasons than just fulfilling the requirements for some of the campaigns that they put out for a few SG. Many of my alliance members have quit this game due to the lack of interesting social opportunities present, and there's almost no reason to be online at the same time. There's not really any competitions between alliances, and the benefits of being social in this game are minimal. It looks like we'll be stuck in NGS's main world for a while, so let's pack the current zones with as much as possible.